Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cinema Tales. Today we are talking about a classic movie where parents of a shy boy hires a beautiful woman for him. He is shy and introvert, but the woman is bold and beautiful. What happens next? Watch the full episode to know. At the start of the story, we are introduced with a young woman named Maddie. She rushes out of her house upon hearing a commotion outside, only to find a government official named Gary attempting to repossess her car. Distressed, Maddie confronts Gary and pleads with him not to take it away. However, when Gary refuses to budge, Maddie changes her approach. She starts using her charm to distract him, knowing that the car is her primary source of income, which she relies on for work and to pay off her house loan. Just as Gary begins to waver, an unexpected interruption occurs. A man, wearing nothing but underwear, casually steps out of Maddie's house. Trying to cover up the situation, Maddie quickly claims that he's her cousin. But before she can say more, the man walks over and starts squeezing watermelons. Realizing what's really going on, Gary immediately snaps out of his confusion, takes the car, and leaves without another word. Left without transportation, Maddie heads to work on foot sketching as she walks. That's when she spots her car nearby. Wasting no time, she jumps in, hoping to drive it away, only to realize it's been tied down with a rope. Before she can do anything, Gary appears once again and retrieves the vehicle. Determined to get her car back, Maddie turns to her friend Sarah for help. That's when Sarah shows her an unusual advertisement. A wealthy man is looking for a girlfriend for his 19-year-old son. As an incentive, the chosen girl would receive a car as a gift. Although Maddie is older, the temptation of getting a free car is too strong to resist. She decides to go to the boy's house. There, his parents explain their concern. Percy, their son, is socially withdrawn. He doesn't talk to anyone at school, has no friends, and spends all his time on his phone. They want him to become more outgoing, confident, and socially skilled. They task Maddie with bringing him out of his shell, encouraging her to make him more fast and clever. Understanding their expectations, Maddie realizes she must find a way to win Percy over. To set her plan in motion, Maddie borrows her friend's car and heads to a pet store, where she knows Percy will be. She pretends to be interested in buying a dog, using it as an excuse to strike up a conversation. However, Percy barely acknowledges her presence. Determined to grab his attention, Maddie takes things up a notch, subtly showing off her figure and behaving flirtatiously. Yet, her efforts don't seem to work. If anything, Percy appears nervous and overwhelmed by her forwardness. Feeling uncomfortable, he abruptly tells her he's going home. Seizing the opportunity, Maddie quickly offers, "Let me give you a ride." Percy had no interest in accompanying Maddie. However, when she refused to give him his bicycle, he had no choice but to go with her. As they drove off, Maddie playfully teased him, saying, "Looks like I'm kidnapping you." Instead of taking Percy home, Maddie suddenly changed direction and headed toward her place. When Percy glanced at the back of the car, he noticed a pile of tools, which immediately sent a wave of panic through him. For a moment, he truly believed Maddie was kidnapping him. The moment the car came to a stop, Percy reacted instinctively. He pulled out his pepper spray and sprayed Maddie's face. Coughing and blinking furiously, Maddie yelled, "What the hell, Percy? I just wanted to go on a date with you." The kidnapping thing was a joke. Realizing his mistake, Percy felt guilty. He quickly grabbed a hose and started rinsing Maddie's face with water. After some back and forth, he finally agreed to go on a date with her that evening. Later that night, Maddie waited at the club, and when Percy arrived, he was dressed in a blazer over a button-up shirt. His overdressed look drew chuckles from the crowd, but Maddie smiled and complimented him. She even ordered him a drink, despite knowing he didn't drink. As Percy hesitated, Maddie insisted. Just then, her ex-boyfriend appeared, flashing his engagement ring in Percy's face, as if to rub it in. Uncomfortable with the situation, Maddie decided to leave and took Percy to the beach. Under the moonlight, she playfully began undressing Percy, but the shy boy resisted. Instead, she laughed, took off clothes, and ran into the water. Percy, flustered, found himself slowly giving in. He hesitated, but eventually he too stepped into the water, leaving his inhibitions behind. Before things could escalate, a group of pranksters suddenly appeared and snatched their clothes. Furious, Maddie stormed out of the water, completely unbothered by her lack of clothing, and chased them down, making sure they regretted their little stunt. She then returned to Percy, but he had changed his mind about going any further with her. Frustrated, Maddie threw on her clothes and stormed off to her car. Percy, still feeling guilty, ran after her, shouting apologies. Just as he reached her, the police spotted him, completely naked, and immediately started chasing him. Panicked, Maddie hit the gas and sped off with Percy in tow. Once they reached her place, she wasted no time and starts playing games with him. With a playful smirk, she asked him to slap her, but Percy, flustered, responded with a light kick instead. Undeterred, Maddie climbed onto Percy's lap, but he struggled under her weight. Laughing, she switched positions and pulled him into hers. As they got closer, Percy winced, his back itching. When Maddie checked, she noticed he had a rash. Gently, she applied some ointment, and in that moment, their playful teasing gave way to something more real. As they sat together, Percy admitted, "I don't really have friends. I've never been away from home before." Maddie softened. "I get it. I've only left home once, when my mom got sick. I had to stay back and take care of her." Their conversation turned deeper, their connection growing stronger. For the first time, they saw each other beyond the teasing and wild antics. That night, a bond formed between them, one that neither had expected. As time passes, Maddie and Percy develop a close friendship, spending their days together, enjoying various fun activities. One day, Percy playfully gives Maddie a finger trap, causing their fingers to get stuck together. In that lighthearted moment, Percy, caught up in his emotions, leans in and starts playing game with Maddie. It was his first time, and he couldn't contain his excitement. Later that night, Percy and Maddie go out for dinner, where they run into Natalia, a family friend of Percy's. Coincidentally, Natalia is also planning to join the same university that Maddie intends to enroll in. She invites Percy to her bachelor party, and seeing the two of them together makes Maddie uneasy. Unable to ignore her feelings, she tells Percy that she is only here for the summer and will be leaving soon. Hurt by Maddie's words, Percy, in frustration, decides to attend Natalia's party. Maddie tries to stop him and make him understand, but he refuses to listen and leaves. Concerned, Maddie follows him to the party. At the party, the younger guests notice Maddie's presence and mock her, recording videos to make fun of her. However, Maddie ignores them and focuses on finding Percy. When she learns that he's inside a room, she knocks on the door, but no one answers. Without hesitation, she forcefully breaks in, only to find Percy and Natalia together on the bed. Anger and disappointment flood Maddie as she lashes out at both of them. Wanting to sober Percy up, she forces him to vomit. Just then, a man at the party gets furious at Maddie for barging in uninvited. Seeing the situation escalate, Percy, in a fit of rage, tries to punch the man, but ends up accidentally hitting Maddie instead. Feeling guilty, Percy walks Maddie home. On the way, he apologizes and, in a moment of vulnerability, suggests they take their relationship to the next level. Maddie, though initially agreeing, realizes Percy is still under the influence. She refuses, telling him they can talk about it tomorrow. Percy respects her decision and simply rests his head on her lap. The next morning, Percy wakes up feeling elated. Today was the day he believed he and Maddie would finally be together. Full of excitement, he tells his parents that he has decided not to enroll in university because he has found happiness with Maddie. His parents, however, are deeply concerned, as they had always wanted him to pursue higher education and grow into a responsible young man. His parents turned to Maddie, urging her to convince him to change his decision. Unbeknownst to them, Percy overheard their conversation using the car's built-in technology. It didn't take him long to realize that Maddie had been sent by his parents, and that she was only going along with their plan for the sake of the car. Feeling deeply betrayed, Percy devised a plan of his own. One day, without informing his parents, he invited Maddie to his house. When she arrived, his parents acted as if they were meeting her for the first time, playing along with the charade. At that moment, Percy received a phone call and stepped outside, where his friend was waiting with some tools. Percy had made up his mind. He would sabotage the very car Maddie was supposed to receive. Working together, the two friends completely wrecked the vehicle. Later that night, Percy entered Maddie's bedroom. He got close to her, and both of them played the games together. However, just when Maddie thought everything was fine, Percy confronted her. He revealed that he knew about his parents' scheme and her deception. Shocked, Maddie tried to explain that she had no choice, that she had done it out of necessity. But Percy refused to listen. His disappointment was too great. He asked her to leave his life for good. As a final act of irony, Percy's parents gave Maddie the same broken car as a gift, disguising it as a gesture of goodwill. With no other option, Maddie took the car and left, eventually finding work at a bar. Meanwhile, Maddie, burdened by financial struggles, decided to sell her house. Realizing the mistake she had made, she chose to face Percy once more. She visited the university and apologized to him, hoping for forgiveness. But Percy, still hurt, ignored her and got into his car. Maddie followed him, and the two ended up at the seaside. There, in the midst of the vast ocean breeze, Maddie fell into the water. What followed was a heartfelt conversation, one that allowed them to finally speak their truths. In the end, they made peace with each other. This movie comes to an end.